Hi guys, before we head over to the show, I'd just like to say that if you enjoy the content that I produce here and want to help support the show, for $2 a month, you can get ad-free episodes on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Heavy Metal Tones. I'm also available on all streaming platforms and on YouTube. Please do head over to either one of those to support the show. If you feel so inclined, please do email me at heavymetaltones@gmail.com. That's heavymetaltones@gmail.com, where you can request, show ideas, album reviews, interviews, and so on. Otherwise, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Drivers who switch to Progressive could save hundreds just by bundling home and auto insurance, because you can't go wrong saving money. Unless you spend it on a guitar and never learn to play it, but lie and say that you did. Then someone hands you a guitar at a party and asks you to play, so you decide to improvise this.
Well, don't you know that but that's not it. Dreams are fun and also good.
Yep, you can't go wrong bundling and saving money with Progressive. Well, depends on how you spend it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to the Score Bet, where betting on game day is made easier with all the promos and player props you need in a seamless and easy-to-use experience. Whether it's home runs, three-pointers, or shots on goal, there's no better place to own the moment. Right now, new players can get their first bet insured up to $1,000 in bonus bets. More action, more rewards, more for you. The Score Bet. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones. Not as advertised, unfortunately, on the socials. I did say that I'm going to do the Beneath the Remains by Sepultura, as it is Sepultura's, they're saying goodbye. I am still doing that. It's on my to-do list. A little bit of an insight for you. I had a little bit of a mental breakdown this week. Not a breakdown, don't want to worry guys, but I wasn't myself. It was really struggling. This is the time of the year coming up to when my father passed away, and I still struggle quite fresh mentally. So I would like to just say, reach out to you guys and say that, and girls and kids and whoever, whatever you are, listening, that if you do find yourself in that position, the same position that I have, I'm lucky. I have beautiful family, great work colleagues, very great friends around me that I can reach out to. I've also reached out to my doctor. I'm going to see him next week, probably as of this release of this episode, maybe a few days afterwards. Anyway, what I want to say is that music is the best soother of minds for me. When I'm struggling mentally, and it's only a recently late issue. I've never in my life really had this problem. I had a little bit of a nervous anxiety as a teenager, but then most of us do. I have had a troubled upbringing. I have talked about this before on the podcast. It's not something I want to sort of spread around, but it wasn't an easy childhood. It certainly wasn't. It wasn't a great life really until I met my wife, and then had my children and moved to Australia. Then life really began for me. Up to that point, it was just really sort of going through the motions and avoiding things. But anyway, what gets me through is music. It brings us back to this. So, if you don't have access to all those things I mentioned earlier, please do reach out to whichever local authority, whichever country you're in, mental health line. There will be one available, easy to find online. And, also talk to your GP, your doctor, if you can, if you have access to one. Now, not everyone has access to one, but if you do, That's where I started out, and I found a brilliant GP that managed to just understand me and point me in the right direction to counseling. I had counseling, and it really, really worked. But every now and again, I tend to fall back into these modes. Winter is coming, it's close to my father's passing, and so I struggle. But what I do is I then fall down even more into more rabbit holes of music, right? I also find myself becoming more sort of compulsive around things. I start a project and I can't fix it at the moment. I'm updating my tape deck. I've just bought another secondhand one, which I'm going to integrate into my system. My old one needed the Dolby circuit fixing. It needed a repotting for the VU meters. It needed recapping, and it also needed new drive belts. So I'm working on that at the moment. But I found myself extremely fixated on it, which is, and then I knew when that started happening that this downward spiral was going to hit. And I do work in a very, very stressful environment. I love it to bits. I really do. But I work a lot around the elderly and patients with dementia. And so where I protect myself with music, and I always have done. It's been a way of running away and avoiding real life sometimes, but also a way of expressing real life to me, my feelings. And, heavy metal, whether it be heavy metal, but whatever music you choose, you'll be listening to this episode, so it's heavy metal for you. It is a good soother of the soul. Helps out that aggression, the anger you might feel, but it also helps you to feel part of a tribe, feel part of something that um, it can't. It's bigger than a family. That doesn't judge you, doesn't uh, want things from you or expect things from you. It just gives. So those, if you're out there, um, my advice is pour yourself a nice cup of tea slash coffee. Put some music on in any way you can. If you have the ability to play it, play it. If not, pick an instrument up, and that's another way I find to soothe my dark side is that I pick my bass up or my guitar up. If I had a room for a drum kit, I certainly would have one of those as well, and I wouldn't mind a keyboard. That it's all about finding space, isn't it? Anyway, I thumb through my record collection. That's another thing that I obsess over, and it helps me to avoid the thoughts. As I said before, music is a brilliant way of helping with that. Those out there that are struggling as well, do reach out to, as I said before, there's websites, there's local authorities in every country. There is a doctor if available to you. And, if that's not available, don't be too embarrassed to reach out to friends, family, work colleagues, even if you're close enough to them at work that you don't have anyone at home that you can talk to. There are ways out of the darkness. There is medication as well, of course. All of us at some time in our world. I mean, I am mildly medicated. It does help. It makes a big difference if you get the right one and it's correctly prescribed for you and your needs. Anyway, sorry to bring it back to be a downer. I just want to let you know that's why I didn't get this. I felt really guilty that I didn't finish it. I really just couldn't. I just could not get myself into the mind frame for it. But what I've done is I've got the interview I did with Max Cavalera for Soulfly for the tour that they were doing, and a new album that had coming out at the time. Then a break in the middle will have a track by a band called Black, which is a Californian thrash metal band. So I was just sent their latest single to me in the mail only about a week or so ago, and I'm really, really excited to play it for you. It's brilliant. And on the other side of that, I've got another interview I did with Max Cavalera's stepson, Richie Cavalera, and the band Incite. Both interviews were originally released on the Metal Rubes YouTube website. That's Metal Rubes. That's METAL-ROOS on YouTube, where my videos go. But this is the audio strip ripped from that. This is the unedited audio ripped from that. So I hope you enjoy this, and then enjoy the track. But the first one is Max Cavalera and Soulfly. Take it away, Max.
Oh, what time is it over there? Oh, Afternoon, around 2 o'clock.
6 a.m. here. It's nice and early.
Good morning. Get a cup of
Bleary
coffee.
eyed. Yeah,
Yeah.
bleary eyed.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
What's
for.
going on, my brother?
Oh, just looking forward to chatting to you, my friend, which is.
Waking up at 6 in the morning, talk metal. Let's go,
Yeah,
huh?
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're coming to Australia again very soon.
Yep,
Was that very
January.
soon? January, on the back of a new album.
Yes, very excited.
Mm.
Very
Yeah,
excited. And plus Nail Bomb also on the bill as well. So that's a plus. Super excited. Bring those two bands to Australia. Nail Bomb, of course, a classic. Cult band.
yeah.
Great record to play. The Point Blank songs. And then Shama, Soulfly's new album, it's straight out of the oven, man.
Yeah, fresh.
It's hot.
Yeah. It's a great album. It's just, I believe it's 13th album already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It just
I stopped counting. I stopped counting at 8.
Yeah, I bet you did.
That's what I'm not counting anymore.
Oh dear. So what? So it comes out October 24th, which is not far away. I know Chama means fire in Portuguese, yeah?
Yeah, flame.
Yeah. Flame, sorry, flame. Was that a deliberate theme for the album? Like, was that?
Yeah, I mean it's borrowed from a UFC fighter named Alex Pereira. He says that a lot, Shama, when he fights, and I love the word. I love the power of the word. It's one word. I mean, it has double meaning. Means flame, but also means to call somebody if you want to fight somebody or call spirits or something. So I just thought it was a great name. It's an exotic name. Everybody can say it. Pretty much, it's an easy word to say. But it's very exotic and very Soulfly. It's like one of those Soulfly things. One word. But to me, it does mean the flame. Reconnecting with the original Soulfly flame of the early era of Soulfly.
Yeah, because there was two different distinct eras, isn't there? I mean, when you think about Soulfly, the themes from the early albums to now, they're different.
Yeah, and it's always been like that. I think that's what makes it cool. It's never really kind of follow one thing, just kind of kept evolving and changing, and I like that about because that it led to more experimental stuff. But I just realized through the years, the more you play, the more you think about it. I realized that the things I really like about Soulfly were kind of missing a little bit on the last couple of records, like the heavy groove, the tribal element. So I brought some of that back, but the record also has some modern stuff on it, like a lot of noise, man. Like I think that was the work of Zion producing and Arthur mixing. They brought like this new element of noise, technology. So I think that the combination of tribal and technology together, it's really interesting to me.
Yeah. I was going to say, because this is the first time that Zion has produced for you
Yeah.
for the band, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought when I listened to it, it had a slightly different, or like you said, a more modern edge to it, and that's probably because of his age and his abilities, as you said, right?
Right. Yeah, his approach to it was really cool. It was a bit like very enthusiastic, very inspired. Not like a big producer that has done 1,000 records and knows everything. He was the opposite of that. It's like, I have never produced an album before, but I'm willing to try it. Like I'm willing to put my heart and soul into this thing and see what happens. And I think there's a beauty in that, man. That's something really cool and really primal on that, and And to me, I'm always willing to take risk. I'm always been a risk taker anyway. So for me to like give him the keys to the car, it's like, yeah, you drive the car now. Like I'm just gonna sit in the back and chill out. So that to me was cool. Again, it's a little bit of a risk, but if you don't take risk, you don't get the rewards. That's what I always said. So
Mm.
I like the final result. I think the final result is very interesting. Again, like I said, the the mix of the tribal elements, the percussion, the grooves with the noise, and some of the even crazy songs like Gehenna and Favela
Yes.
Dystopia.
Yeah.
They really stands out because they're so heavy. They're brutal. They're raw, really raw. And they match the record perfectly.
I was going to say those two tracks because it's very. There are points in it where it does get extremely heavy, and
Yeah,
the groove, it's still groovy though. I don't know how you do it. There's still that Latin groove in.
yeah, yeah. We still managed to do both, but I love Gehenna. I think Gehenna is a really unusual, unorthodox track. Kind of like doesn't really make sense. Like I think the beginning of it's like we started with the middle of the song, and I just kind of like press play, and there you start to everybody together, double bass screaming, guitars going crazy, um, and then there's this groove. You're right. There's a total groove underneath. And then there's a great solo by Michael Amott of Arch Enemy to put a cherry on the top.
Yes.
It's like amazing. Yeah, I love the guests on this album. I think it's really cool. Very unpredictable kind of guys too. I don't think nobody was expecting these guys on this record, and that's what I kind of like about it.
I must admit, I was about to come up to those guests. I wasn't expecting them. They're not the kind. I mean, we all know them, but
Right.
it's you wouldn't expect it. And it was when I was looking through the information for the album and then listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, like that makes sense though. It sort of makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things, kind of like um, I have many friends in music, and I like
Mm,
a lot of them. So how can I do something, into Soulfly that is unexpected, to bring something unexpected, and that's gave birth to this idea to use guys like Michael in Gehenna, and um, you know, uh, even Todd in from Nails in Nihilist. Even is just
mm.
one line, but it's the heaviest line on the record. Like
Yeah,
I don't believe in anything. It's just like it just doesn't give a shit about nothing.
yeah.
Um, and then of course I love No Pain Equals No Power. It's a really standout track, I think, on the record, that it was really created from the ground up. We made it with our friend Dino Cazares,
Mm,
and Dino played with us for a while, and we knew that we are gonna do a song with him on the new record, and he came over to Arizona, hang out, and we jam out, and the song came to life. And it needed something in the chorus. I wasn't happy with it, and then we thought of Gabe Franco from Unto Others and Ben from No Warning. Both
mm.
of them gave that spark on the chorus, so it really kind of like it's melodic now. It stands out. I think it's a really cool track, man. Again, I'll put this track up against Jump the Fuck Up, or one of those classic
Yeah,
Soulfly
yeah. It's very
early
anthemaic.
tracks.
Yeah, it's very anthemaic. It has a real bounce to it. You
Yeah,
know.
and it has a special feeling to us, a special something.
Yeah.
But again, that's kind of what's cool about this record, that there is some new stuff, that I think people were not really expecting, and it kind of hit you. Um, so yeah, overall, I'm very happy with the guest songs, but also happy with the non-guest songs. Stuff like I love Always Will Be, which again is it was a borrow from you guys from
Yes.
Aboriginal.
Yes.
I was in Australia watching a documentary on TV, and it was called "Always Was, Always Will Be."
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the words. I love what they mean. Um, so the song is, although there's no words in English, I sing everything in Portuguese inside of the song.
Mm.
Um, it's one of the heaviest songs, and then again, we were using a drum machine for the first half of the song, so it's kind of like,
Ah,
Nine Inch Nails, Nail Bomb,
yes.
Godflesh.
Very
It's
direct.
experimental,
Yeah.
yeah, and then turns into organic in the end.
Mm.
So a lot of room for experimental stuff still on the record, which is cool. I love that we're still growing.
Do you feel freedom when you sing in your native tongue? When you sing in Portuguese, do you feel freedom there?
More like it's exotic. I think I like the exotic element. I think it sounds cool. Like a lot. I have a lot of bands that I like from the '80s that sing in Portuguese that never
Mm.
made it out of Brazil. They're big in Brazil, but they cannot play anywhere else. But there's something quite cool. I don't use a lot. Only in a couple songs. Like in the past, I have used in songs like Rata Mahata and
Mm.
Brazil and Mulambo. And then again in Shama, I use it on Always Will Be.
Mm.
Um, there's something exotic about it. It's cool. It's of course I prefer to sing in English because everybody can
Can
sing
sing
along,
along.
and you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's definitely something cool about it. There's an exotic, weird, you know, something
Mm.
evil. Even it's like sounds even evil a little bit. I think for especially if you don't know the language. I think if you hear me singing in Portuguese, you go, "What the fuck is this guy saying? This sounds fucking crazy," you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, because there's a couple of Brazilian bands that I listen to, and they predominantly will like to sing in their native tongue, and it does sound really um
Brutal.
angry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Angry.
angry, brutal, evil. And all of the above.
Which is interesting because when you listen to someone like yourself speaking in their language, it's a beautiful language when it's spoken.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to bossa nova, it's very soft
Mm.
and very chill.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and even if you listen to Brazilian rock, I listen to a lot of '80s Brazilian '80s rock. Was like they're copying U2
Yeah.
and the Smiths, and they sound great in Portuguese. I think it sounds killer. But then if you go to the other spectrum, the heavy side, all the hardcore black metal in Portuguese,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother level uh, of brutality, brother. Like
It
that
is,
shit
man.
just comes
It
just crazy.
Yeah, I listen to a band called Crypta, and they'll do stuff in Portuguese, and it's just like, whoa. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's cool. It's a cool language. Um, I've been asked to do a whole record in Portuguese by some label people. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe I'll save that for a future project. But
a
definitely cool
side
to
one. Yeah.
sprinkle a little bit. On this record, there's a lot. There's Favela Dystopia,
Yeah.
Always Will Be. Shama has a little bit of it.
It does,
Uh,
yeah.
it's cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, and the tour's gonna be amazing because it's a great lineup. You're here in January, so it's nice and warm for you.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't even bring a jacket.
No, don't bother in January. God no.
No, yeah. Don't bring shoes. Don't bring jacket. Just shorts.
That's it. You're on stage pouring water on yourself, trying to cool yourself down.
I know. I've been there when it's that hot. It's fucking crazy.
It's brutal. It can be brutal. Although I'm sure Brazil gets like that, and where you are now gets
Oh
like
yeah,
that as well.
Arizona, very hot. Arizona
Dry.
is one of the hottest places on the world. But
It's dry though, isn't it?
we're excited for it, man. I think it's gonna be great. Especially both bands are quite different from each other. I love Nail
Mm,
Bomb, and the Nail
yeah.
Bomb set is so precise.
Yeah, yeah.
We played the record straight up like how it is. And then Soulfly, it's going to be quite a challenge to come up with a set list. Uh, we got to play all the hits, but you also got to play some deep cuts and some new stuff. So it's going to be quite a challenge.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next. I mean, the set list must be tricky because 13 albums. And when was the last time Soulfly was here?
Might have been on that festival with the Deftones.
Oh gosh, that's a little while ago now.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Years ago.
Yeah. So it's good but you're going to go with this one being a longer set because obviously it's a headlining tour. So
yeah,
you get to play a longer set. So you've got more, like you said, more deep cuts, which will be brilliant.
yeah. I mean, we're trying to rehash some cool stuff. Like, I really, I like Dark Ages a lot. I like a lot of fans are big into Dark Ages and Prophecy. And of course the first three records, everybody always loved them. But there's some real deep cool stuff we can get it from anywhere. Like if you look at the discography. And then of course there's the new stuff, Another thing that might be cool we might do is play a different songs every night, so it's not the same set list every night.
I love bands that do that.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it keeps it fresh.
It does because particularly if you're following a band, and there'll be people that will come to all three because they do, and so to get a different set on those nights, that's a real bonus.
Yeah, and on Soulfly I can kind of do that because we know so many songs. I can call them up like James Brown style,
Yeah.
like James Brown used to do that. I think James Brown, his band knew 80 songs that they could play at the snap of a finger.
Oh man,
I'm not quite there yet, but I can pull some of those. I can pull some of those out, be like, this song now, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready to play, even if it's not on the set list.
Brilliant! That's brilliant. Because I mean, one of my favorite albums is Omen. Actually.
Oh, that's cool. That's an underrated one.
I think so because it was that period in time, that mid 2000s, where metal was a bit sort of quiet.
Yeah.
And so when it came out, it was a real sort of eye opener.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that record a lot. Like there's so many. I mean, sometimes I go on tour in Europe and I see the comment and people, oh, I wish they would have played this song. I wish they would have played that song.
You haven't got enough time.
No, not enough time, man. But we try. We are trying. But I love deep cuts. I love finding some secret jams.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it's gonna be a fun tour. We're very excited.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you, buddy.
It's been a real pleasure. I'm going to go get a coffee now. Try and wake up.
All right, yeah, go wake up.
But a great way to start the day, chatting to one of your heroes. It's nice. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'll see you in Australia. All right.
I'll see you there.
All right, man.
Bye, mate. Well, there you go. Max Cavalera. Would you believe it? Unbelievable. I remember seeing Sepultura, and I'll talk about this in the Sepultura episode I've got planned to come, which is going to be very, very soon. I remember seeing them, gosh, it would be 91, maybe 92. These headphones are bloody tight. Sorry. Oh. My ears feel like braised lamb. Anyway, about 91, 92, and being sort of blown away. I remember being really upset because they were meant to support Judas Priest, or the brothers were, for the Nostradamus tour, but they couldn't get work permits, which I thought was really, or visas, whatever the shmoly was. I remember being quite annoyed. Then we had to get Down, that awful Phil Anselmo band, Down. Sorry, Phil's fans of Down. It's just not my thing. Supported, but that's a different story. Another episode. So now we're going to talk. Now we're going into what would normally be an ad break, but I don't want to. I'm sick of giving. I get pennies, absolutely pennies, from the ads on this program, and that is the truth. You couldn't even buy a pint with some of the revenue I get from some of these episodes, particularly the more obscure episodes. The episodes like the Maiden ones and the ones with the big names, they'll make some good money. But the ones I like to do like this are the ones, tend to be, or the smaller bands tend to make less. So I'd rather put music in there that I'm allowed to play. If you do want to support the show in some way or another without ads, do go over to Patreon /heavymetaltones.com. Patreon.com/heavymetaltones. And for $2 a month, you don't get a lot for it. You sometimes sometimes the episode that's meant to come out this week goes out the following week because I forget to put it on Patreon. I don't do a lot with it. I'm meaning to. When I get time, I will. It's just a way of saying thank you and keeping the lights on, the wheels turning, and the deck spinning. Yeah, that's all I really ask. If you can do it, that'd be great. Just don't expect a lot back from it. Just a thank you would be nice. Anyway, or like and subscribe. I'm sure there's a blurb at the beginning of the show, which I put on recently, which will tell you all of that. Anyway, back to Black. No, not the AC/DC album. I'd love to, but I'd probably get myself in a lot of trouble for doing it. Anyway, I'll give you a quick rundown of the band Black. It's established in 2006 by guitarist Richie Garcia Jr. and Gregorio Jimenez Jr. in the city of Sacramento in California. Back in Black, hey, see what I did there, right? Anyway, Black, the band from Sacramento, California. Now, they've had their first album came out, United States of War, in 2013, and they performed exclusively with bands like Death Angel, Lazarus AD, Bonded by Blood, Archaic. They've had a few member changes, and people from bands like Habeas Corpus have come in. They've also shared shows with bands like Propane. And they got guitarists from Death and Seconds came in as well. As I said, they've had ups and downs with their lineup, but they've also had some really amazing wins with touring with bands like DRI and The Accused. They partnered with Imperative Music Agency in 2025. They're the agency that reached out to me to ask me to have a listen. They featured on the 2025 Imperative Music Agency compilation CD featuring guests like Kerry King. So they're in very good company there. And so we move forward to 2026, and they're releasing the new single, Practice of Suffering, which is scheduled for release on the 29th of May this year in 2026. So you're going to get it a few days before everyone else. That's pretty cool. So the band themselves consist of Eric Von Kraus on guitars, Don McKillum III on vocals from 2019, Austin Elkerton on guitars, Kenny Donovan on drums. So before we go into the track, I'm just going to let you know it's a cracking, old-fashioned, classic thrash number. It takes you right back to the days when it was on that sort of borderline punk, almost clean but also aggressive at the same time. A point where before thrash, when it diversified, this is the sort of thrash that we as 16-year-olds were really digging. Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, all that kind of stuff. That real Bay Area mix of aggression, speed, and youth, and that sort of darkness that pervades, as I said at the beginning of the show, some of our minds. It's a really good way of this kind of music. It's great for expressing and getting rid of that energy, which I absolutely use to do that. So this is a great example, as I said before, using music to help you get out of this, or even to just shout into the wind. This is the kind of music for you. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You're going to really enjoy this single. I really enjoyed it as well. It's Practice of the Suffering from Black. Take it away, guys. And as I said, releases itself on the 29th of May, so you've got it a few days earlier. That's a lovely exclusive. Doesn't happen that often, does it? Bye for now. See you after the song for the second part of the show. Welcome back, guys. Wasn't that an absolute cracker of a track? I actually cannot wait for the new album to come out, and I'm going to actually go and do a deep dive into their first, their back catalogue, because it's just that, as I said before, the unadulterated, unfettered exuberance, which I love from thrash. You know, before it became all different kind of subgenres and add this and add that. The sort of like the way that the frontier of punk was so pure, and pop music in the 60s and blues in the 50s and 60s, you know, that kind of before it become an intellectualized product, before it just has the ability to get your heart rate up and your mind away from the darkness that sits sometimes upon its shoulders. So this is a really great track, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Thank you very much for reaching out, the label reaching out and sending it to me, because I would have never listened to it otherwise. It would never been across my radar, because it's, as I said, it's before the underground is where I like to live, and there are always caverns and side alleys and taverns and inns and things like that in those dark alleys where music is played, which you don't hear unless you know to go there. So it's really nice that I have people looking out for me, sending me this stuff. As I said before, if you ever have any music you're a band and you want me to put it on the show, I will do it. I don't mind, just as long as it's not hate, and as long as it's not you know, inciting violence or anything like that. Look, you know, I will happily put it on. Please do send it to me. Any of the subgenres, I don't really mind. I will do it for you. I just want to champion music on this show. Anyway, following the Max Cavalera interview we did on the first part. Here is his stepson, Richie Cavalera, with his brilliant band Incite. And their new album that were released a little while back. It's nice to keep it in a family, isn't it? And also, Richie's got some fascinating insights about the industry and about the people around him. The album was amazing. I hope you enjoyed the show. I love the interview. Again, it was released on Metal Ruse. That's metalruse.com on the YouTube channel. You can go and watch it there. This is the audio strip, unedited. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, like I said, please like and subscribe. Come back next week, and I will hopefully have the Sepultura album episode finished. Sorry about the little hiccup, but these things do happen. But even just recording this show right now has actually really cheered my soul up. So anyway, keep safe, look after yourselves, do talk to each other, don't be silent, be creative if you can. Take it away, Richie.
Awesome.
Hey, Richie.
Yo, thanks for your patience, brother. Sorry, I've had like 6 in a row, and they're kind of going over on each other.
That's all right. We'll keep this one pretty snappy for you.
No, you're the last one of the day, brother. So no worries. No worries. Thanks for taking the time too, man. Mad appreciated.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Absolutely. It's good to chat to you, Richie, about this new album that's coming out.
I'm super
soon.
pumped, man.
I think it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Friday. Yeah, I don't know what day it is down there though. It's probably
Thursday
already
here.
Friday there.
Yeah. No, it's Wednesday. So Friday's the day after. I lost that days of the week, man.
It happens, man. It's all blending together these days.
Yeah. I've just finished listening to it again for the third time this morning, and wow, it's a killer album.
Thank you, man. I definitely think it's something that kind of grows the more you listen to it. You know, you start seeing all the awesomeness and the deepness of the songs and the characteristics of the album, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do, absolutely do. I mean, I think the keynote for me is Dolores, right? I really love. That's my favorite track on the album.
I love that, man.
Yeah, and the way it moves, it's so unusual. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what this record has a lot of. You know, I think we're able finally, you know, with the guys we have in place and the bond that we've been building over these years, it's like we're understanding, hey, we're a heavy metal band that can take these parts and take these pieces of whatever punk, grindcore, anything, and really fuse it awesomely. Like, you know, take Lies, for example. That song is kicking you in the face, and then it ends with this killer melodic outro that you don't expect, but it doesn't clash, you know, it flows like it should. And I think that's the exciting part about this album, and like Dolores and Doubts and the Fears, like really.
Oh yeah, Doubts and the Fears. Yeah.
really playing with stuff on that, man. I think it's exciting, and it makes it feel fresh and new and organic, and the vibe is just really hitting right now.
Yeah, it is, man, because that's modern metal at the moment, isn't it? You do anything you want, no stress, right? Like, I think I love that. Like, there's almost doominess in there. There's some sort of hints of Sabbath in there. You know, you name it, you can hear what you want in this album. Like,
I love that. You know, we're influenced by so much music, man. Like, you know, from L, you know, he's like late 40s, and Lennon's early 40s, and I'm 40, and Lane's 30. There's so much history of music and influence in there that we're able to like not be afraid to like test the waters and really, you know, see what we can do. You know, you don't want to make the same album, and we're not somebody that's like, oh, you know, we obviously can make a heavy track, but now we can show that we are fantastic musicians as well, and really expand on what we do.
Well, particularly, absolutely, and the vocals on this album, particularly, I think is better than I thought. The last one was a cracker, right?
Thanks, man.
This one is like, I mean, because you've got two beautiful. I mean, you got produced by Steve Everts, or I can never say his name, Everts or whatever it is. And mixed by Arthur Ritz. I mean, you know, this is big. These are royalty, man. Like,
like
it comes across
that's
way.
something. Yeah, that's something that's important to us. I think, like, you know, we don't spend a lot of money on like press. We don't spend a lot of money on promotion or tours or, you know, dumb bullshit. We put it where it matters, and the producing and the art, you know, that to us growing up was the most important thing. And, you know, I think over the years, production values lost a lot of its quality.
Oh,
you know,
God, yes.
You know, bands rush things and they pro tool it and copy paste. And, you know, Steve is very old school. He keeps it real takes and everybody recording together and doing it together, and really pushing you to fucking just get that real intensity out of you. And I think being 4 albums now, it's like we don't want to work with anybody else because of just how fucking awesome he is as a person and as a producer, and like getting the
Mm.
best out of us. And Arthur Riss, like the last 10-15 years, that dude has been involved on the best metal albums that have been put out. And that was Steve's idea. He was like, I want Arthur to do the final touches on this record. And we were just like, fuck. I mean, yeah, of course, like whatever you want, dude. So and the label was behind us and really cool and supporting these ideas, and allowed this album to flourish and become what it's becoming.
Yeah, truly. It's so layered and textures. I mean, talk about being recorded in the same room, and Steve's old school, right? There's something about this sound that you're getting and he gets that was missing for the early 2000s. Like, I mean, I point to Iron Maiden. I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan, but you listen to those first early 2000 albums, flat,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost soulless, to be honest. And that's
Oh
sacrilege,
yeah.
right? Oh, to be saying that, right? But then you come to bands like albums like this where you've gone backwards in the production techniques, as you say. But it's not, is it? It's somewhere the perfect sweet spot.
Yeah, I think so, because you can't fight all of technology. We're
No.
not Corn. We can't go record an analog record for $1 million,
No.
but we can do things that bring that organicness back. And that's definitely what Steve is all about, and this band is about. We when we started, yeah, that was the procedure, man. You went in there and sang one chorus and they just copy pasted the rest. And I think most of the music in that time was soulless and flat, and
Mm.
just didn't really have the balls. Everybody was always like, oh, you guys are such a good live band. They never gave a shit about the records. And with Wake Up Dead, and I think like this one, they're really understanding like where that was missing. And now Steve is creating that for us and bringing these old school techniques that are giving soul to music again, and especially heavy music like that has to be real feeling. It has to be that grittiness, that heart coming
Mm.
out into it. And I think that's what Steve and Arthur are able to do with a band like us.
Yeah, and of course, because your vocals are so distinctive, when
Yeah.
you can hear the breathiness in the tracks. It's
Yeah.
not just like you said, cut and paste. Oh, that's the same each time. I'll go back to Dolores, but because I love it.
Yeah.
But you go from chorus to chorus, and it's almost like it's the same take. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very
It was hard.
breathy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
He's just he's amazing too. And I think a little of that comes from like my influence of like Chino Moreno. I think that's something I've always loved about what he does. And
Mm.
whether it's Deftones or Crosses or whatever project he's doing, he utilizes that breath and the way it is and makes it just feel so real, like he's breathing in your ear almost. And
Yes.
I really wanted to finally incorporate that. And just also getting better. I never learned. I never took classes. I never really even understood what vocals were. I just went out there and yelled. And it shows that when you just start that way, it takes time to get to where you want to be and learn the right ways and learn the proper procedures. And Wake Up Dead was really that record I finally began to like harness and really play with things and try things, and look at my voice more like a guitar, how you can create so much with it. And I think Deadbeat on the last record was really that turning
Yeah.
point where I was like, whoa, I can do other things rather than just yelling. And Dolores was that super expansion from where I was. And now it's so exciting. I can't wait to do like the next record and be like just fucking just blowing people away and trying things that I never knew was possible. And that's the beauty about music, man, is you can always learn and grow and create something new that you never thought possible.
You know what? Absolutely, man, because it is such a vast difference. I was listening to your first album to this. It is such a difference. Like
Oh yeah.
in like this is mature. I mean, 21 years you've been going, not
Yeah.
recording,
Oh
but
yeah.
21 years, long time, right?
Oh yeah.
First album 2009, and you think you go, it's such a mature sound now, And like you
Yeah.
said, you've got that lovely sweet spot with Steve and Arthur and the band. It's a sweet spot,
Oh
and
yeah.
and you can hear like even the notation, the drumming, the guitar work, everything is so clean but so dirty at the same time.
Yeah. Like you can hear it, but it's still got that nasty metal feel to it.
Yes,
And
yes.
you know, I think that's cool. Like that we're a band that like didn't come out and blow our load on that first record, and then like forever we're like chasing that. You know, we were given that space to be like, okay, they're gonna put out a couple shitty or not so great records, you know, and then
Mm,
we'll watch them take their shape. You know, I think Oppression and Built to Destroy, they're really good records, but to me they're the obscure ones in our growth. You know, when you listen to like Up in Hell and then you put on like Wake Up Dead, that right there
mm,
is the natural progression of this band.
mm,
You know, those two records we brought in a former guitar player that really took and held hostage the writing process and really just downgraded it for the rest of us, and like the vibe just wasn't there. And I think that's what was reestablished with Wake Up Dead and so much more on this album. So when I look back, I'm like, damn, those first two are kind of like demos, and then Up in Hell is where you hear us like really kind of start to build a sound. And then Wake Up Dead, Savage, it's like, fuck, now that right there is what makes sense to me. And it's cool to be able to see that now and really be doing what we should have been doing on album 7. It's
mm.
cool to have that vibe.
But also, you can look back now. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because your fans
Yeah.
and the people who don't know you, who come across you, and there will be people that don't know you who come across you and
Oh
put
yeah.
your record on and go, "What? Hang on, listen to this," and then you hear the growth, and that's so wonderful for fans. I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love putting on a band's albums and going, "Listen to this first one," where it's like almost like they don't know what they're doing because it's raw. They've got no money. They're doing it in a cheap studio,
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to do it themselves, and then and the passion's there, but it's locked in a cage. And then
Yeah.
you get to something like, as I said, Savage New Times, and you go, I mean, Lies, for instance, you go, yeah, this is a different beast, right? It's a whole different beast.
100%, man. And that again goes to like the point, like, we're not chasing some huge album we did early in our career. We're able to go in and each time make something new, make something further more advancing us. And that's cool to be getting better at this stage of our career. And I think that just shows too to the broader metal community that like,
Oh,
there's so much time in metal to grow and get better and find yourself. And I think you're seeing a lot of those bands taking 10, 15 years before people are really learning about them. And
mm,
then it's like, damn, I got all this cool music from like Power Trip, who I'd never heard and they've been around for 12, 13 years until I
mm.
finally heard them. Or Knocked Loose, or a lot of these new bands that are making headway. It's like it takes time, man, to really develop your sound and develop your feel and get everybody on the same page and ticket and going forward. And I think that's the cool part about metal and what we're experiencing like heavily right now.
Brilliant. And it's also because you tour so much, my friend. It's like you
Yeah.
play live. I mean, great bands in history, all the great bands in history are not studio bands. I mean, yes, the Beatles
Yeah.
towards the end.
Oh yeah.
But they're not, are they? They're bands that have spent their misplaced youth in sweaty clubs trying to learn and
Oh
be
yeah.
part of the thing, and then suddenly growing into their own self. And that's what's great about Incite is that you play all the time,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
With anybody
with
too, man.
anybody, right? Anywhere you'll
Like,
play. And that means it translates to the albums, right?
yeah. It helps us expand, because it's like, if we can go do a tour and play our music for Gorgoroth fans and they dig it, and then we can do a tour with Il Nino and those people still dig the same songs, it's like we have something here. It's just a matter of packaging it and bottling it and selling it right, And
Yeah, it's the
I think
hardest
that's,
part.
yeah, 1,000%. Because we just did a tour with Hatebreed, and then next we're gonna go tour with 6 Feet Under. It's like, in the scale of metal,
Wow.
those are two different worlds. That's hardcore, and you're talking, death metal. It's
Yeah.
like two different things, and we're gonna be able to seamlessly go from one tour to the next and not miss a beat and have people be like, oh, what the fuck is this? But we're gonna give them something that they can enjoy, because at the end of the day, it's all heavy metal, and that's like what we're all looking for. Something fun, something fresh, something that like jars emotional response out of us. And we're a band that loves creating a safe space for mental health release, man. And that's
Oh, yes,
like
thank
what
you.
that's
Yes.
yeah, that's like what we feel we are and what we do. You can take something in our album and find a relatable issue that maybe helps you, or coming to the show and raging in the pit and smiling at the same time as having that bad day. It's like it's why metalheads are some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet in the world, because we have this safe space to create our emotional release, and that's a beautiful thing about what we all do.
Man, honestly, perfectly said. Couldn't have said it better, man, because
Thanks, brother.
it's exactly how. I mean, firstly, yes, because let's be honest, most of the audiences are male, right?
Yeah.
We know that, right? Even though
Oh
it's
yeah.
getting much better,
Yep.
predominantly male, and males have a very hard time expressing their emotions. It's
Oh
something that
yeah.
we just, as males, it's much harder to do.
Oh
So
yeah.
when you come into this space and you can let that out, it's so refreshing. It's why I'll
I
always be
agree.
16, man. It's why I'll always be 16, because I could put
I,
albums like this on and go, I'm 16 again, right?
I agree, man. I think you hit it on the head too, because like that's something I dealt with is abuse and stuff like that in a relationship, and being a man, there wasn't shit for me to find in terms of help or
Yeah.
reaching out to. It was like really just family. That was it, and that's why the song "Used and Abused" is on this record, and why it's so important to me to show people out there that we are dudes and we're tough and we're all this, but you still can go through that shit and
Yeah, man.
not know how to face it or whatever. But heavy metal is that place, like you said, where you can go and find other dudes that have been through this and releasing it healthy, and not being a danger to society. Now you're actually becoming a positive in society by releasing that there and going over here to help the next person be able to release that as well. And that's what I love about doing this, and
Yeah.
probably why I'll never quit doing metal.
Please don't, because
Definitely.
because things like use and abuse, like you said, right? All art for me, this is personal, but all art is creating art is painful, right? It's a painful
Yeah.
process to create art.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you have to give it to the world, and then you have to let the world digest it, and then
Yeah.
tell them, then some douche telling you what he thinks of it, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
as you know,
That's
okay, right? Um, but what you've done the most painful bit. You've taken your personal story and you've given it to the world, and then you have to let. It's such a lovely release for you, right? Like you said,
oh
like
yeah.
just go over there, go away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've said it now. I'm done. And playing it must be difficult. I can't imagine when you come to play that must be a harder one for you.
It was definitely, like you just said too, like I feel like that's how this band has been. Like I was very closed in on what I wanted to release as far as like to the world. I think I started to learn as time grew, like how reviews are and how critics can be. And,
Mm,
it's like something that's so deadly important to me and something that almost like ruined me. They don't see that, or they just take it as like a song and that's it. And this record, that's truly what I wanted to do, was just like I'm gonna put it all out there, and I don't really care how the feedback is. If they don't like it, then that's okay, but I was able to get this off my plate fully this time, rather than being like, oh, I could have did this or I could have said that. And I
mm,
think that's when you really hit peak kicking ass in music, is when you're able to lay all that out, because that's ultimately what this is about, man, is laying your cards on the table and for the world to see and critique and whatever. But at the end of the day, you're knowing that there's going to be a couple people out there that take these songs and relate and get better from them and can move forward in their life. And there's songs that have helped me through terrible days or bad relationships or anything. And
yeah.
we want to be that for other people.
Oh look, absolutely. I mean, I tell a story that my sister-in-law, she passed away a few years ago,
No, I'm
and
sorry, brother.
oh yeah, we were quite close. She was in England, but she passed away a few years ago. She was a big Blondie fan, right? And she gave me, before I came to Australia, she gave me all her Blondie records, and we
Oh
used to
damn.
listen. We used to listen to together, yeah. And I went to a tribute night one night, and this Blondie band was on, and I just could not stop crying. It was like this release, because I sort of thought of Jill. I was like,
Oh yeah.
and I even had to go up to the singer and give her a hug and say thank you, because I hadn't
Oh
let
man.
go until that moment.
Yep.
And so this is the
Yep.
thing about this is this is why personally, and I'm talking, but you should be talking, but this is why
No, you're good.
personally, I don't like to criticize musicians in any way possible, because
Yeah, yeah.
you don't know, as a listener, you don't know the journey that you've been on, Richie. You
Yep.
don't know the
Yep.
journey that that person's been on. All you do
Oh, yeah.
is hearing this consumption, and it's not what you like, right?
Yep. Yep.
But they don't like it, don't play it, mate. Don't say bad things. Just go, no, 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 it's not for me. Switch off.
Exactly. And, you know, I think that's something we can like take just from the music world and expand into a bigger picture of the world, you know, and like,
Mm.
you know, just really being about like healing yourself. You know, you don't have to go out there and heal everybody. You don't have to like have your story be the thing that helps somebody else, but you can always go out there and present it and try and hope that it does good and helps others, and you know does what you set out for it to do. And you know that's always like a great feeling. And you know I think always you'll find somebody that'll like run into you at a show and be like, you know, this song really helped me get through this
Love it.
day.
Yeah.
That helped me get through that. And that truly like that's something I think I took a lot from my dad, you know, to watch the people that come up to me all over the world and they're like, dude, his records, you know, helped me through the worst times of my life. They got me through, you know,
Yes.
this terrible feeling and this and that. And I think that's like what began to grow in me and to understand like really what music was about. My beginning was like, oh, I just want to go out there and write songs about fucking killing and kicking ass and fuck all this. And, you know,
Because you're a
like then,
teenager. That's what you're doing then, right?
yeah, you know, for sure. And that's how you grow and you see the big picture on things and understand like truly what, you know, music can do. And, you know, putting yourself out there, it ends up helping more people than hurting, you know? So you just kind of navigate the field and do what you want to do and respect the way that you do it. And that's the most fulfilling part of this, you know?
I mean, it's so true. I mean, your father, I mean, you know, for all the brutality that he has produced, um,
Yeah.
there is beauty in it. There is
Oh
great
yeah.
beauty in it. And I think we've talked about this before earlier, but I agree that people see heavy metal and they just think ugly.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
think, you know, I'm always wearing a shirt, right? Ugly, right? No, it's not. It's a shield
Yep.
for what's inside. And when you get
Yep.
inside, there's brutality, there's ugliness, of course, there's the human race, right? There's
Yep.
also moments, like I said, like on this album, where you go, that's just lovely, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you shouldn't be afraid of it. I think this is what people are afraid of, is they're afraid of actually saying, I really dig this and I understand it.
That's 100% true. And that again, what metal's about. Like when you think of like pop music or you know some hip hop and rap, you
Mm,
kind of see this false existence that most people they're not gonna relate to.
no,
You know, it's just it's fun or whatever that they get from it is cool, but that's a temporary fix and it's not fixing the true deepness of what's happening in their life. You know, you
no.
can go dance and drink and be at a club and listen to the song and it might be fun then, but it's never gonna resonate truly with your soul and pairing those things. And you know, that's again what heavy metal is about and why it's the most true form of art expression in music in the world. And you know, seeing it reach places like India now and
Oh
China
yeah,
and Russia and all
amazing.
these. Yeah, dude, it's great to see that and like watching people like overcome governments and things like that because they're listening to heavy metal and seeing the different picture and you know really being able to be compassionate with others and feel like you know, hey, like my daddy might be the craziest looking dude and wrote some of the most deadly fucking metal songs, but when you meet him, he is truly the nicest human you've ever met in your life. I mean, it's like Corpse Grinder, you know, he's at the
Yeah.
state fair winning stuffed animals. It's like that dude's writing hammered to the brain, kills you know, like shit like that. It's like, you know, that's like where you realize what we are and who we are and how real metalheads are compared to every other kind of music that's really out there, you know.
It's
Special.
art. Yeah, it's art
Yeah.
after all. It's art, isn't it? I mean, at the
Yep.
end of the day, it
Yep.
truly is art, and
Yep.
art is subjective.
Yep.
And what again? I want to go back to this album as before we finish up. I want to say that this great album, as we said, Savage Times, um, is really artistic. I think that's the
Uh,
right term for it, man. It's really textured and layered and interesting. It's just not one note, right? You
yeah.
know, we've all got albums in our collection that we put on, and you get to the end and you go, did I really hear more than one track? It feels like it was just one thing.
Yep.
But then you put on Savage New Times, and you know, you might be washing the dishes, you might be walking the dog, you might be in the garden, but something catches you. And you go, it's different, man. Like,
Oh
what's
yeah.
the one the is it Chucked Off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Because I wrote a bit read just a rat, which is a great single, and then you
Oh
come
yeah.
into just Chucked Off, you're like, because it doesn't just go. It goes boom, like it's almost like a
Yeah, and I think the lyrical direction too in that track really catches you. You know, you if you really pay attention and to hear the wordplay that's happening and the strong meaning that it incurs with those is something I really love about that track. And you know, there's a lot of people that want to be the victim out there and you know
mm,
try to play that as their card. You know, when they're really the piece of shit causing all the problem. You know, and that's something that was big in my life. And you know, I think like the standout to me, you know, is like the road that you're on is your own asphalt. Like you know that can be looked at as like 20 different ways. Like the road I paved is this asphalt that I made, or this road I'm on is my own asphalt.
asphalt.
You
I
know,
love
like
the play on words. I love it.
like that was something I really found on this record to be able to do. And like you know, again, like doubts and the fears, that and the core and the breakdown has this line where it's like I've earned my place in this world, and that's like to me one of like the most powerful things I've written too. And I think
Mm,
that like metalheads will see that and feel that and experience that because we all do, you know, earn our place in this world through one way or another, whether it's helping people or, you know, living a carefree life or whatever that is, you know. And
mm.
I like that you went and saw the deepness of this album and the songs that, you know, what they really have on them. And that's what, you know, true metal is about rather than just being washed over as just, oh, it's heavy, you know?
Yeah, and that's true. That's exactly right. I mean, you put on Beethoven, for instance, that's very heavy, but it's textured
Oh
and
yeah.
layered and takes you on journeys. It's
Yeah.
the same with this. Is that
Yeah.
I'm an age now of an old man. I like to hear music that can create that emotion in me because I've heard a lot. I mean, not disrespect. I've heard so much.
Oh yeah.
It's every
Oh
day.
yeah.
It's something flowing through my head. These never come off, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, so to put on an album like that and actually get stopped for a moment to think is really lovely and really refreshing. And it's not very often to be honest, Richie, these
That
days.
hypes me up, brother, because like you said, there's so much music out there. And,
So much
you know, from when
noise.
we started to now, I
Mm,
mean, there's probably a million bands more. And, you know, every band that's created is ultimately competing against every single metal band that's ever been because they're all still around
mm,
touring and promoting their bands. So,
mm.
you know, you don't just jump in and there's less bands than there used to. There's always more
Always
and
more.
more and more.
Yep.
So, you know, when we write a record, we want it to be different. We want it to stand out because yes, there's so much of the same, and you know you can only have so many Slaughter to Prevails out there. That it's like okay,
Yep.
you know
Yeah.
what's gonna be fresh in my mind that comes in and just is like whoa, damn, hold on, like hit the brakes. And for you to say that is like you know that's one of those moments where I'm like you know fuck yeah, like I'm so happy that I'm doing this and we did this and weren't afraid to like step outside of our box and really push the envelope on what metal can be and how fresh it can still be at this point in time.
Yeah. More for you, man. More the better because it's a refreshing album. You know, I was only listening to some extreme black metal early this morning, like because that's what I was into this morning when I woke up,
Hell yeah.
and then and then I put on I put on this because I thought I'll get one more listen through before I chat,
I love that, dude.
and I was like, gosh, man,
I
this is
love that, dude.
so refreshing.
Now all we got to do is get us down to fucking Australia and New Zealand and shit.
Please
Like,
come, man.
dude, if it was our choice, we would have been there 40 times already. It's just, you know, I'm hoping over the last 2 days out of nowhere, I've done like 15 interviews for Australia and
Yeah.
I've never done this. So I'm hoping something's like cooking that I don't know
Oh,
about.
put
And
it in
like,
the universe.
yeah, bro, manifest this shit because you know
Manifest.
we want to come down there and smoke some of your great weed, enjoy your beaches,
Yeah.
eat some fucking meat pies, and just you
Oh,
know enjoy
mate.
it.
We'd love you here, man, because this country loves this kind of music. It
Thank you, because what you're
really
doing
does.
is hopefully helping that process happen, man, and
Yeah.
that's big respect to you, brother.
Yeah, it does because we live on an island so far away from everyone. I grew up in London, man. I could go anywhere I wanted to when I was a teenager. Here,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
so
yeah.
far away from everywhere that that when music comes and you get it, like that, you sort of go, "Well, I understand, man. This has," and then the audience will just go,
Yes.
right?
Let's make it happen, man. We're creating that moment right now
We
with
are
you
right
and
now.
all the
Absolutely.
metalheads.
That's it. Whoever's watching this, and there's be a lot of people. Let's get them here, all right? That's what I say.
Yes. Make this happen. I don't care who it is, if it's just a headline, whatever. I don't even give a shit. I need to play there. Lennon and Elle have never been there. You know, they
Oh,
joined the band right after the year that we last went to Australia, and it's like, you know, one time we've been there in 20 years is just, that's egregious, man. I've been to Russia and played there more than Australia, and that's bullshit.
that's crazy, isn't it? When you think about
Like,
that, right? That
doesn't
just
even
blows
make
your
sense.
mind. It doesn't make sense because the audience here is
No,
that's
you're literally just the next island over across the water from me. Like, you know, there's got to be a way to make this happen, man. So
yeah.
that's what we're praying for this coming year, man. Is really to get down there and finally just really put a great tour together with you guys.
Brilliant. Yeah, because honestly, the bands that are coming through this country at the moment, it's madness. I cannot keep on top of it.
I know. I heard you have like 120 some odd just metal shows alone over the
Yeah.
remainder of the year. Like, it's fucking insane.
Cannot keep on top of it.
Dude.
And it's driving me. It's wonderful. It's a lovely thing to have. I'm not
Like-
going to complain, but because when I first came here, it was like the desert. There was nothing.
Jesus. Well, promoters and bookers, there's no fucking excuse why you're not having us down there then. Because if I'm hearing this kind of shit, it's let's do this. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Well, when we hang up, I'll send a very worded email to the promoter.
Yeah. Strongly worded emails are the best way to get anything
worded
done.
email in all red letters. And underneath,
Dude.
I'm not a loony, promise.
Thank you so much, man. Like, that really is like truly what we need and what we want. And, you know, it's our bucket list to return down there and, you know, just slay metalheads, bro.
Brilliant, man. You're going to love it. Some great venues here.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for chatting. And
hey, thank you, bro. Like, taking your time to do what you do and how many bands there are and how much stuff there is, like, it really means a lot to me and the entire band, our whole team, bro. So big ups to you and all the people listening and checking it out, and mad respect. And hopefully, again, we'll be down there smoking a joint together in no time, brother.
we will see. Definitely. Okay.
Hey, have a good weekend and a week and everything, brother. Be well, okay?
And hope the album blows it out of the water when it gets released, my friend. I hope
Come
it's
on,
a
let's
big
get it.
tidal wave.
Let's get it, man. I need to make some donations to some dogs and get the animals taken care of. You know, I'm fucking ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Hey,
Okay.
Cheers, brother. Be well.
While every other channel is fighting for your customers' attention, podcasts are where they've already given it. No one accidentally listens to a podcast for 45 minutes. They choose to be here. They trust the voice in their ears, and when that voice talks about your brand, it doesn't sound like advertising. It sounds like a recommendation from a friend. Acast gives you that trust at scale. Digital precision, host-read authenticity, and performance data that proves it worked. Don't fight for attention. Buy it with Acast. Learn more by visiting acast.com/advertise.